Betrayals. It is Constance from QueenlyMe.com, your place for tips, insight, and inspiration on relationships, purpose, and wellness. So if you have read my ex-horror story, Good Times, then you know that I am no stranger to betrayal. And the fact that I'm not on death row right now is just proof that there is a God, okay? If you were having any doubts, I'm not in jail. There is a God. But if you've been betrayed before, you've probably spent a lot of time, as did I, trying to figure out why it all happened. And sometimes it's a lot easier to just resort to, well, that's just the way they are, and try to move on with your life and pick up the pieces. But it's never that simple. People who betray us are not simply just bad people. Now, granted, they may truly be a bad person. However, they didn't begin life that way. So it's a really tricky thing trying to figure out why people do what they do, because there are things about people's lives and the things that they've been through that we may never know anything about. People don't just wake up in the morning, stretch, and then brainstorm how to ruin someone's day, even though it might seem like it. Because some people are just rude. Bless their hearts. As Proverbs 4:24 says, our actions will always reflect the conditions of our heart. So when someone betrays another, it's because of the pain and the hurt and sometimes the insecurities that are flowing from their hearts. So just imagine what might have happened to even cause them to become this way. Like it or not, we all have a responsibility to treat people in a way that changes the narrative about, oh my gosh. Can I just get this sentence out? It's always one sentence that I have to do like 50 million times. Okay. Like it or not, we all have a responsibility to treat people in a way that's going to change the narrative about what they know about people in relationships so far. I'm just gonna go with that one because Lord, and this is especially true for all of my Christians. We have a responsibility, it is our purpose to reflect the love of Christ to everyone every day, and no opportunity can be wasted. The kingdom can't afford that. You can't just be out here making the Lord look bad, calling yourself a Christian and treating people any kind of way because they deserve it. Well, what do you deserve? Huh? Right. Okay? So just be a little nicer. Moving on. Excuse my outburst. And although this is true, we do not have to just receive whatever mistreatment people want to dish out on us. And we also shouldn't close ourselves off from allowing other people to get close to us. Going through tough experiences like this should instead work to sharpen our abilities to recognize and communicate what our boundaries are. Every person is not out to get you, and if you treat them like they are, then you're no better than the person that betrayed you. Acting like that would be operating from pain, and we all know that hurting people can't do anything but hurt people. Don't allow their damage to damage you. They treated you that way because they were anticipating hurt from you, not because they believe that you're the type of person that would just go around hurting people, but because of what they've experienced in the past. And every time that you respond to them out of anger or frustration, it only solidifies what they already believe, that you were only going to hurt them anyway. So this is what I mean by changing the narrative. Show them kindness and respect even if they don't deserve it. Literally blow their minds with the way that you respond to their foolishness, even if you choose to never speak to them again. Because as I've said before, we have a responsibility to leave people's lives better than when we entered into it. Even if the situation isn't ideal, even if it's not cordial, even if it's a horrible situation, leave that person at least with a lesson. Show them that everybody is not out to get them, even when they're trying to sabotage certain situations, because a lot of people can sabotage their own happiness, but that's because of the damage that they are harboring inside of them. And if you can't muster up any kindness, because I know some people are experts at pushing other people's buttons. But in that case, just know that silence and action are always most effective. Cut down on the talk, because that's only going to frustrate you even more, and that's only going to open the door for you to lash out in frustration and anger. If you're going to cut them out of your life, cut them out. You don't have to talk a bunch about it. Be about it. Do what you feel like you need to do is best, and that itself could speak a lot to a person about what other people are not going to accept from them. It's important to show people that you care about the condition of their heart, but that you also require loyalty and respect from them as well. Never treat someone according to their behavior, because you never know the pain that somebody could be operating from. And you never want to be that person that adds to that pain, because that comment that you make out of frustration or the way that you leave the situation, you never know if that could be the last straw for that person to just completely give up hope on relationships, love, and maybe even life itself. It should always be your goal to treat people the same way that Christ treats you. And that's with never-ending grace and mercy. But you know that if you step out of line, He will step back and love you from a distance. And we should be the same way. When I think about the fact that Christ has loved me through self-hate, through depression, through my bad attitude, and my bad behaviors, it makes it so much easier to offer that to other people, because I know what it's like to be on the other side. And when I got a full understanding of why I was doing all of that, I am grateful that some people did not treat me the way that I was acting. I'm just gonna leave it at that. And yes, I know sometimes it may seem like, well, why do I always have to be the bigger person? But draw power from the fact that your betrayal story, whatever it may be, is actually going to work in your favor, because it's going to show you exactly what your next relationships are not going to consist of, because you are going to make sure of that. Don't waste what you've been through in these situations by becoming fearful or becoming hard-hearted when it comes to relationships and love. To be honest, I don't even regret all of the things that I went through with my ex. I'm actually grateful for it, and that was just one story of betrayal, okay? I've got plenty more. But I can truly, honestly, with confidence, say that I am grateful that it all happened. I wouldn't change a thing. And that's because I allowed those situations to teach me. You can never regret something that you learned from. Bitterness, resentment, anger, unforgiveness, those are things that will lead to regret, okay? And it's not cute. Ugh. You ever met a bitter person? And they could have been beautiful, but you were just like, baby, let it go. That is so ugly on you. And what makes it worse is while you're dealing with all of these things, the person that betrayed you is going to go on with their life. And they're probably not going to even think twice about what they did to you or how you're dealing with it. You can't punish other people by being bitter and resentful. You can't control how people treat you and some of the horrible things they decide to do, but what you can control is how you respond. The enemy meant for this situation to break you, but God wants to use it to elevate you. But you have to let Him. Life after betrayal actually sometimes is a lot better than before the betrayal even happened. So just please look forward to that. I hope this helped you, and I will see you same place next week.